Y'all, this video is going to be a bit hard for me to make. Not really, but it's like a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in this video are things that I truly feel like I was put on this earth to talk about. And never in a million years did I expect the Barbie movie to touch on these themes, whether intentional or not. Like, many of us that saw the Barbie movie, I was very surprised how moving and emotionally significant the ending was. As soon as I saw the scene where Barbie meets her creator, I noticed so many references to the afterlife, God, and spiritual beliefs that I thought were too interesting to not share. A lot of people don't know, but Greta Gerwig has stated that she actually used themes inspired by Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden when making this movie. She was raised Catholic, and she has said how she thinks biblical themes can be very successful at conveying certain messages in modern movies. For example, in Barbie's world, there is no knowledge of suffering, pain, or death, similar to the perfection that existed in the Garden of Eden before Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge. The roles are reversed as Barbie becomes Adam, being the significant original being, and Ken being Eve, or being made second to Barbie and existing purely to serve and seek approval from her. So while I'm editing right now, one thing that I also forgot to add while I'm doing research on Greta is that she also actually included another biblical reference when Barbie's running away from the Mattel Corporation people and she runs into Ruth for the first time. And in the movie, we don't know that that's her creator, quote unquote, yet. But there's a scene where they're in a kitchen and Ruth offers Barbie tea. And when she hands Barbie tea, Greta has stated that the way their hands are positioned is supposed to echo the way Adam and God's hands are positioned in the Sistine Chapel with the birth of Adam, which makes sense too because the birth of Adam is the first time that basically Adam comes into contact, quote unquote, with God or the creator, and this is the first time that Barbie's coming into contact with her creator. But like I'm about to say as we go further into the video, the biggest spiritual themes that I'm interested in don't really have to do with Christianity at all, so let's just get right to that. The main spiritual theme of the movie that I really wanted to talk about, however, is what I personally noticed, which happened towards the end of the movie where Barbie meets her creator. In this scene, Barbie has a talk with the creator, Ruth Handler, and this scene takes place in a very atmospheric environment that feels almost liminal and spiritual in nature. The way the room is very warm and relaxing represents purity and peace, and the fact that Ruth is referred to simply as the creator reminds me of near-death experiences and coming into contact with God or a higher being. The way in which Barbie asks Ruth if she can be human and Ruth says, "You don't need my permission," reminds me first of the role of parenting and second of the concept of free will. Parents, and in this case mothers, can only control and protect their children for so long before they have to stand still and allow them to possibly make mistakes and make their own path in life. When viewing this scene through a spiritual lens, the way Barbie surprisingly asks, "But you're the creator, I don't need your permission," subverts traditional authoritarian views of God by portraying it as an unconditional being with all-encompassing love and compassion, similar to the love of a mother. Here, instead of life coming directly from the ultimate authority of a creator or God, Barbie has the choice herself. Again, this completely subverts the idea and narrative that traditional Abrahamic religions offer. This spiritual theme reminds me so much of ideas from, for instance, like New Age spirituality and more naturalistic ideas of God in the universe like seen in pantheism. God is not some angry, jealous, spiteful being above us that we have to strictly follow or be punished, but a being made of all-encompassing love, compassion, and understanding that offers us our own choices, even to be born and live a human life if we want. I have talked about this many times before, but the way this makes sense to me, as in humans choosing themselves to live instead of simply being created against our will, is that we harbor this power inside of us that is usually only associated with a God because we are not separate from it. So for example, if everything that exists in its entirety is God, then that means we and everything on some level are a part of God as well. God becomes not some mystical thing that's outside the universe peeking in, but something inside of ourselves looking out at itself, trying to understand what it is. Using this logic, I believe it would make sense that we have such power to choose, like Barbie, to live and will ourselves into existence because we have this power within us. I think consciousness itself and our willpower and choices are much more powerful than we can understand at this moment. This version of God seeks to lessen the idea that we are all helpless pawns in God's game of chess, but instead that we are both the pieces and the hand that moves them. The next scene is really honestly my favorite from the entire movie and is truly so beautiful. The creator tells Barbie reality that she can't let her make this choice to live without first knowing what she's getting herself into. Barbie puts her hands into Ruth's and a single tear falls from her eye as Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For plays, and Barbie experiences a summary of human life and experience from the female perspective. I really truly love when film does this because film is art, and the goal of art is to make us feel and feel certain experiences accurately. This scene is very moving, and I feel like it shows the beauty of life and experiences in its entirety without ignoring the suffering that inherently comes along with it, represented by the images of the woman crying. The significance of this scene shows how even when being aware of the difficulty that comes with life, Barbie still makes the choice to live. Again, the parallels to spiritual beliefs are very beautiful. As human beings, we strive to live without pain, without suffering, and without loss. We feel a life where everything is perfect is what we should strive for, and even create belief systems that grant us this in the form of heaven when we die. What we don't understand is that life itself is suffering and is extremely hard. From the moment we are born, we are cold, hungry, and crying. The inherent suffering that comes from life, however, also provides us the opportunity to experience happiness, understanding, beauty, and love. Choosing an existence where you are limited by the imperfections of being alive gives you the chance to fail, but also the chance to achieve goals and grow, instead of being in a static, unchanging state forever, like being in Barbie land. All of this also really reminds me of what so many people say about near-death experiences and how life is a choice, and when you choose to live, you choose to also suffer. I've read about so many experiences, and I'm talking about hundreds of experiences, where people say that once they die, they meet something that they perceive as a creator or ancestors or a higher being like a god, and right before angrily asking them why they allowed them to suffer, they instantly remember that right before they were born, they had a choice and knew that the life that they chose to live would not be easy. Suffering and challenge is inherent to life. It's what makes life precious. Life is not easy, and there will always be some form of it as long as the existence of being alive is a thing. Christianity says suffering is from original sin and the devil. Buddhism says it's from life itself in samsara, and others view it as something fundamental to being alive, allowing for the existence of pleasure and therefore purpose. In this way, you can view Barbie and the flawlessness of Barbie land as the absolute eternal perfection and bliss that we all originate from, where there is no pain or suffering forever, but also no real free will or growth. Barbie talking with her creator, attempting to obtain permission to live as a human, only to realize she doesn't need permission, represents how if we want to experience life, we have the opportunity to choose and will ourselves into existence. This scene and movie overall have such powerful and beautiful themes of the significance of your own individuality and recognizing and appreciating your own self-worth independent from anyone else's influence. Whether it's Barbie for Ken, society for Barbie, or even God or your parents, you should always trust yourself and live your own life with conviction and confidence. So yeah, I talk about a lot of shit there. I know some people are like,
Damn, you got all that from Barbie?
I do think the scene where, Barbie holds on to Ruth's hands and she sees life help to show how beautiful life itself is. Nothing, and not being rich, not being blessed, not dating, just life itself. I loved that. Very philosophical. I was in Texas when I saw it, and I was really shocked when I got out of there. I was like,
Damn.
I did not expect that. So let me know what you guys got from this scene. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you have a very good day.